Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. You beautiful, beautiful, amazing, wonderful people. You're looking absolutely amazing, by the way. And guess what? It's Thursday. It's Thursday. That's it. Thursday. And we jump on an aeroplane tomorrow. So hopefully it will be a good flight. If not, this might be one of the last videos I ever make. But anyway, let's get straight into the meat and potatoes as we're talking about Jay Slater case. Now, this might be the only video I do today. I'm going to keep an eye out. If new updates come out, then I will certainly give you them. But what I'm talking about in this video is something that some of you might not even give a toss about. And I wouldn't blame you, because it's what I think. This is talking about what I think and my conclusion, what happened here, and I'll explain why. Okay? Now, I absolutely believe that something happened to Jay Slater. And I mean that I do not believe for 1 second that Jay Slater goes over to Tenerife, goes to this NRG festival with these friends, ends up separated from them, getting a lift from two blokes, one of them who's still, to record in this video, is still anonymous, jumps in the car, goes to the arse end of the Back and Beyond to this house, goes and sleeps there, and then the following morning decides to walk 11 hours back into, the town where he's staying. I'm not buying it. I don't believe it. And anybody who does believe that story, you need your head knocked. Now, don't get me wrong, we are hearing this fucking ex-Met officer who's doing the rounds. He is kind of saying that there is potential connections to established criminal enterprises in Tenerife. He's got quite frustrated because there's a lot of kind of speculation around this case, and I think he feels that is kind of drowning out the noise, drowning out the truth, I suppose, diluting what could have potentially happened. And he had a little bit of a hissy fit through his fucking dummy out of the pram. And look, I'm still on the fence with the guy. I don't know whether he's mental or not, but look, he could come up with something, because I don't think he's too far off the truth. And maybe that's because anybody with half a brain can potentially see that something's seriously wrong here. Now, what do we know? We know that Jay, bless him, he was a bit of a twat and was involved in caving someone's head in with a group of friends. Now, some people have speculated whether what happened to him is potentially something to do with what happened back then. They've kind of said that people had got friends with other people in jail and stuff like this, and there's convoluted stories around this attack. Apparently Jay had previously got jumped by 3 guys. And look, what I'm going to say is I don't think it's anything to do with that attack. The only connection could be, if you believe in karma, that perhaps what goes around comes around. I'm not saying that I wish the boy harm. I'm just saying that if you believe in karma, some people are definitely already saying, look, the guy deserves what he gets. He was a twat, live by the sword, die by the sword, sort of a thing. I'm not saying that. I'd like to see the boy come home, but the room is split. And what I am going to say is, and I'd put money on it, Jay ain't coming home. Jay isn't coming home. That's just my thoughts, my feelings. I'm entitled to them. You may not agree, and I will respect that completely. Because I always say to people, there's always hope until there's no hope. But ultimately, we have that gut feeling. And when I take everything into consideration around this case, I believe that Jay succumbed to something on this night. Now, we've seen this photograph that's circling around, the one that was apparently his last Snapchat upload, him wrapped in a blanket that mysteriously looks like the exact same blanket that was in the room that the friends all rented out together. So it's either very, very similar, which it could be, looks identical, may not be. So the question is, on this last Snapchat, how do we even know that it's Jay? How do we know? Realistically, do we know it's him, or could that have just been a way to kind of try to make it look like someone is somewhere at a certain time when in fact they're not. Someone could have had Jay's phone. They could have done whatever they want with it. They could have staged something to make it look like Jay was alive. 100% they could. And then they could have took his phone down and thrown the phone into the bush, and then concocted this story, which I hate to tell you, and I'm sure some of you will agree, this sounds like a concocted story. It 100% does. Are they trying to say that Jay goes to this house and he tries to find a charger, but he doesn't find a charger? He goes back to apparently an after party, but it's an after party where 3 blokes go to bed. Now, I've said it before, there are some after parties like that. Each to their own. But even that part of the story don't make sense. And you've got what happens the following morning. So Jay gets up, apparently didn't charge his phone. Some people have spoken about the plug didn't reach or something, when in these photographs you see there clearly is there's plug points. He could have plugged his phone in and charged it, you know what I mean? But apparently he didn't. His phone was on 1%. This strange phone call that happens that says that he's fallen down off the road and been bitten by a cactus or whatever. You know, the mysterious person who, again, this second guy who hasn't even been brought forward. We don't even know who he is. The family are freaking out over why have these 2 guys not been brought in for proper questioning. What is actually going on? Now we hear that the apartment has been painted. There's painting or whatever's going on at the property. But this boy is supposed to have turned around and said, you know, his phone's nearly dead. He's hungry, and he's going to walk 11 hours back. His friends don't offer to send him a taxi. He don't get a taxi because the best fucking possible thing to do is to walk. And no matter how much they've searched, and people said, I talked about drones yesterday, and people said, but didn't they send drones up? They sent drones up, they had dogs out there, they had searchers out there, and they were searching all this area and found nothing. Found nothing. Now, Jay was wearing shorts and he was wearing a t-shirt and he was a fucking idiot. He wouldn't have got that far. He wouldn't have, unless he was hiding from someone, unless something happened at this property and he had to get away from there in a hurry, and rather than being walking where it was safe, he had to, or he felt he had to walk in a manner that would keep him hidden, then they would have found him by now. The reason why he hasn't been found, in my opinion, is because he was never there. I believe that and again, this is just my belief. I'm not saying I'm factually correct. This is my belief, nothing more, speculation. But I speculate that we've heard that Lucy, for instance, was an associate of this guy. And this guy, this Ayub, whatever his fucking name is, he is a convicted drug trafficker who just happens to be renting out a Airbnb in Tenerife around the NRG festival, and he's now back in the UK. So it would appear that he was there for what reason? What reason was he there? He obviously wasn't on a prolonged holiday. He was just there again himself for that festival. And if that's the case, then why would he rent this property out when you can get properties right next to the fucking festival, 10 minutes away from it? Why would he hire this specific place out in the back end of the Back and Beyond, the arse end of the Back and Beyond? The whole story stinks. Everything about it stinks. And I believe that these kids went out there being Billy Big Balls. They thought that they were going to get involved in hooking up with, you know, specific people and doing specific things with Big I Am, get a payout, and that fucking went sideways. Some way or another, that all went sideways. And what happened after that, whether something happened that weren't supposed to happen, it weren't a plan to hurt him in the way that he was hurt, and it got exacerbated after the fact by the fact that everybody got involved and social media blew up and then something had to be done. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I can't give you those answers because those are broad, far and wide. There can be so many different theories, thoughts, and feelings on it. But I do believe 100% wholeheartedly, I believe that the likes of Lucy, they know more than what they're saying. 100%, in my opinion, they know more. And these two, the two guys who Jay went back to that house with, they hold the key to what happened to Jay. And I am appealing to anybody who has the power, the foresight, the ability to do something to somehow manage to get these people questioned. That's what needs to be done. That's what needs to happen. Because the relationships between the British and the Spanish at the moment, in the likes of Tenerife, all over, that is frosty as fuck. And the Spanish won't give a toss that this boy is missing. It ain't going to matter to them. They don't care. And that's the harsh reality of it. They just simply don't care. So it probably weren't going to be looked into properly. These two blokes could have, especially if one of them has ties to Tenerife. We don't know who they are, but we do know that Ayub has a friend who has a business in Tenerife and is a wealthy person. Now, I'm not saying it's him, but what I do know is we don't know who it is. And someone with a bit of longer connections to Tenerife, and then you've got this little brat, English guy, they could just turn around and say, no, he was fucking with us. He came with us alive, left there alive. Stick to that story. Stick to that story. They can't prove nothing, they can't do nothing, and if they're not really that bothered, how much are they truly going to dig into it? But that's what I think. Let me know what you think. Keep an eye out. If there's any updates, I'll update you. Promise. Have a good day. I'm out.